The Vulcan Centre is a registered charity that aims to help young people and their community to improve aspirations, direct them towards positive futures and achieve their potential using the medium of sport. Our motto is unlimited potential. The centre started as a boxing club based in a small industrial unit in 2012. The aim of the boxing club was to improve the uptake of boxing in the area and encourage the value of discipline and respect amongst local children. Driven by local need, by working with and listening to the local community, the centre has evolved to now deliver a range of services that promote the motto unlimited potential and are based on the themes of youth leadership, education, employability, personal development, health and fitness, and sport and recreation. As a centre, we believe in sport being the vehicle for social change, with education being the tool. The team here has grown considerably in the last few years and is representative of the diversity of the neighbourhood in which we work. The majority of our staff live in the immediate vicinity of the club, and our apprentices grew up in the area. We believe that working in partnership with our community is key, and so it's at the core of what we do. Our decision-making process is done via meetings and is community-led. Things were going great and Vulcan was going from strength to strength. With record numbers attending, engagement was high and the positive impact of the centre was tangible, with education pass rates increasing and community boxing sessions full. Then the coronavirus pandemic hit and schools and gyms were forced to close. For us, that meant the centre shutting down and many of our attendees being unable to access the centre, forced to spend time in overcrowded homes or find themselves on the streets, with little distraction and very few ways to spend their time positively. Currently, Hull is third for destitution rates in a national table, with young adults heavily overrepresented amongst those identified as living in destitution. This was based on data from 2019, before the coronavirus pandemic, and in September of 2020, Hull had the highest jobless rate in the UK. As a centre, we knew that we had become a valuable hub for the community, and we saw that it needed us now more than ever. Food parcels were something that we'd always done, so we increased the volume of the food we distributed and extended our reach across the city. One of the things that we pride ourselves in is on listening to our young people and our community. We do this through our youth council and feedback forums. This allows us to adapt and respond to our community's needs. By staying in touch with our community and innumerable welfare checks on doorsteps, we began to hear the same theme coming through: education. Here's a snapshot of what we're hearing. Trying to teach the kids at home is just impossible. I have 4 children and 3 of them in different year groups. They all have online lessons at the same time, and we don't have the laptops or devices for them to all be able to attend their lessons. On top of this, my partner was furloughed and then let go, so we have had to have food parcels to see us through. So we just can't afford to buy computers or tablets. Another of our families told us, we just don't have the space for all of our children to do their online lessons. We are on universal credit and don't have any spare money for tablets or laptops. It's chaos trying to teach the kids at home. I left school when I was young and I'm struggling to support my kids with the work that the teachers set. Many of the families who live in our community are in overcrowded accommodation. Many of them are young families who have a history of unemployment. Many of the parents disengaged with education when they were in their early teens. Those who were in employment were in unskilled labour or working in the service industry. Within our local community, unemployment has doubled since the coronavirus outbreak, adding additional financial strain to a community which was barely scraping by. We know this as the increase in food parcels to 250 per day at its height. Furthermore, in a report published this week, Hull is facing the toughest challenge of any Yorkshire city to bounce back economically once the worst of COVID is over. Research by the Centre for Cities think tank says that the impact of the pandemic makes the government's pledge to level up Yorkshire almost 5 times harder to deliver than it would have been before the virus. And this is due to the city's high unemployment and deprivation rates. The study also ranks Hull as facing the second biggest challenge amongst all major towns and cities in the UK. A recent report by the Institute of Fiscal Studies, which looks at the impact of lockdown on education, found that children from better off families are spending 30% more time on home learning than those from poorer families. The gap in educational inequality is increasing, and just 1 extra hour per week of instructional time can significantly raise achievement. Our youth council have told us that their primary concern over lockdown is missing out on their education. We want to even the playing field. We are asking for £10,000 to modernise our computer suite. We want to be able to provide a robust and inclusive environment which is accessible to all members of our community, where parents and children can be supported with education, and where people from all ages and backgrounds can access the internet and be supported to do so, from homework clubs to universal credit job searches and CV writing. We want to provide the opportunity for our community to have access to the best equipment and to have the ability to print out their CV and access education opportunities that, due to socio-economic status, they wouldn't have otherwise had. The people that we work with struggle with not having face-to-face contact. Our attendees need the reassurance that they are supported by staff in the centre in order for them to have the confidence to continue to access their education. Providing support and the best equipment encourages the young people who we work with to raise their aspirations in a time where they are being faced with challenges like no other. If we were to raise funds in addition to this, we would be able to provide more support via staff in the centre for education and employment support. It would enable us to buy more laptops so we can learn to the local community, to provide families with support with homeschooling. We would also be able to increase our outreach work that we do within our community. We want our members to achieve unlimited potential.